Hey everyone, it's Michelle Caruana from Play Cafe Academy and Profitable Play. And I am so excited for this video topic, not just because the person I'm going to be interviewing is an absolute creative genius, but because it's January, right? It's New Year, New Me energy. I know I'm eating healthier right now. I've been working out despite being trapped in like 5 feet of snow, literally. I think we're actually up to 6 feet now. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've been posting pictures all week. My kids have had 4 snow days in a row. So I'm actually really lucky that I squeezed this interview in so I could bring you this content. And thank you, Adrienne. She had to deal with some plow noise outside while we were recording. You know, it's just been one of those weeks, but I still have kept that New Year, New Me energy. I'm reading books. I'm doing all the things, right? And today we are going to be talking about how you can bring that New Year, New Me energy to your indoor playground business and do a little refresh and revamp. So today, specifically, we are going to be talking about murals, and I'm going to be speaking with Adrienne from About Murals. And what's really interesting and unique about Adrienne's business is that she started hand painting murals for people's residences and small businesses, but then she decided that she wanted to serve people all over the world. So she actually started designing wallpaper murals. So she takes her own one-of-a-kind artworks as well as artwork from all over the web and also brand logos and custom designs and all that good stuff. And she turns them into wallpaper murals, which I think is so cool. And a lot of you watching this probably are already thinking, gosh, murals are way outside of my budget. Well, I really want to challenge you here because Adrienne is going to dive really deep into all of the different options that she has for every single business. And in this video, I'm going to share some examples of some absolutely beautiful designs that she's done for businesses just like ours. And I bet you it is way more affordable than you think. And Adrienne was also kind enough to provide everybody that's watching this video with a discount code. It's just Play Cafe Academy. And you can use that code to get 40% off all regular priced in-stock murals from her website. And I linked her website as well as I provided the promo code in the video description so that you can use it with ease. But I'm going to share some really great examples. But if you want to learn more about Adrienne after this video, because I have a feeling you're going to, I linked her website, her Instagram handle, and I also linked the blog post that actually connected me to her, all in the video description. And that blog post showcases 36 different projects that she's done for indoor playground businesses just like ours. So it's absolutely going to inspire you and give you some ideas about how you can make that same impactful difference in your own space. So without further ado, here is my conversation with Adrienne from About Murals. Hi, Adrienne. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's get started. But first, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and let us know what you do?
Absolutely. My name is Adrienne, and I sell and install wallpaper murals and custom wallpaper from our online shop. I started like ages ago hand painting murals. That's how I started my business. And, I did it sort of as a side hustle, weekend warrior. I was always sort of scared. I didn't want to be that starving artist. You know what I mean? So I always had a full-time job, but I loved it. Like I did a lot of kids' bedrooms, nurseries, that kind of thing. And oh man, I'd leave and the hairs on my arms would just stand up. It was just like such a good feeling decorating these rooms. And I just loved it. But again, always kept it to the side. So I always had a full-time job. My educational background is in advertising and marketing. So I was doing that full-time for a long time, and then got married and got pregnant. And at 7 months pregnant, the company I was working for closed down and I got laid off. And we had, it was very scary. We had some big decisions to make, but I had my mat leave, and throughout that mat leave, I just realized like how much, although I love working, how much I just adored this baby, and I couldn't leave her. I did not want to leave her. And I started thinking too, if we put her in daycare, what boss is gonna let me take all of this time off to, if she's sick or over Christmas break, summer holidays, like how do you even juggle that? I'm sure a lot of the indoor playground owners that you work with are sort of in the same boat where they're looking for a business where they can incorporate their children. So what we decided to do is that I would stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom, but I would continue painting my murals sort of on the weekends, or, if my husband at the time could take off a little bit of extra time and allow me to go out and paint, it was that little bit of extra income that I could create, still be at home and be a good mom. So I started doing that, taking it a little bit more seriously, because I thought, oh, when she goes to school, this is something I can do and make my own schedule, set my own hours. And I started having some more success because I was obviously putting more energy into it. So I painted a mural for a DIY, for a show on the DIY network. And that aired all over Canada and the US. And I started getting calls from clients from other provinces in Canada and even down in the States as well, saying, will you travel to my home and paint in our kids' rooms? And it was like a freight train that hit me. I'm like, oh my God, I can't continue to make these beautiful rooms outside of my local geographic area and be a good mom and stay with my child. Like I've sort of put myself into this little box, and how do I get out of that and still do something I love, like creating beautiful rooms and offering that sort of all over North America? So I had this idea, well, what if I uh, put murals on wallpaper? I can work from home. I can ship them all over the US and Canada and still be at home for my daughter. And like, that was my priority, was making beautiful rooms and being a good mom. So that's what I did. It took me a while to figure out how to set up an e-commerce store and do all of that kind of stuff. But for over the past 10 years, it's just sort of grown from there. And my murals have been featured all over different TV shows, HGTV, DIY Network, Cityline. So it's been a journey, and I absolutely love the fact that I can do both of the things that I love.
That's amazing. And I relate to that so much because, a lot of people ask me why I sell mostly digital products and courses and things that can be accessed on somebody's own time. And it's because I had the exact same epiphany. I was doing so much one-on-one consulting. I was on the phone all the time. I needed complete silence. I had somebody watching my kids, and I was like, you know what, there has to be a better way. So very similar, just in a different industry, I turned all of my expertise into an online course that people can just buy, and it doesn't require any of my additional time. So I can absolutely relate to that. And I think that's a really beautiful journey. And thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I know you mentioned that you work with residences. Do you also work with businesses, and kind of in what way?
Yeah, so it did start out as mostly residential, hand painting, like kids' rooms and nurseries. But throughout that early stages of my business, yes, I did start getting calls from businesses as well. So I was painting logos on their walls. A lot of, indoor playgrounds. I did some work with indoor playgrounds, daycares, and funnily enough, gyms. For whatever reason, I kept getting calls from gyms and sports complexes as well. So painting murals in their party rooms, painting their logos, that kind of stuff. But yes, that transitioned into the wallpaper murals as well, because they're all commercial grade. So I still work with both residential and commercial, with the wallpaper mostly now. I still do hand paint, but it's mostly the wallpaper. But honestly, like, the love in my heart is always going to the small businesses, because with my education being in advertising and marketing, I walk into or do a Zoom call and I'm looking around at these walls and at their branding, and I'm like, oh, this mural would be awesome for, branding here, or this would really, pull your corporate colors out there, or, create a unique, like, people will remember your business if you do this. So I just, with that, advertising base there, I'm just, my brain just naturally goes there. So yes, I do both, but I do just really love working with small businesses.
That's awesome. We had a couple actually hand painted custom murals in our space, and I absolutely loved it. It made probably one of the biggest impacts out of all of the different decor choices that we ended up choosing. And we got so many compliments on it. And like you said, when somebody posted a picture or something like that, or they saw a photo online, they would immediately recognize our colors, our business, our logo. So I'm so glad that you pointed all of that out. Now, I know a lot of us listening to this are probably in the US, or are probably, a little bit far for you to do the hand painted murals. Because, another thing is the one downside is that it was extremely expensive. And I was very happy to pay the artist for their work, and they absolutely deserved it. However, I know it is a little bit out of reach for a lot of the small business owners who are just getting started. So, can you talk about some of the benefits that we might expect from purchasing a mural on wallpaper versus hand painted, especially if the hand painted murals are just out of our budget?
Yeah, really that's the biggest benefit is the cost savings, honestly. Our wallpaper murals, we carry in stock wallpaper murals. We have over 800 on our online shop, but we also sell custom. But the in stock ones, they're all original artwork. Like of them are paintings or photographs from local artists, and the paintings get scanned in at really high resolution. So literally when these murals go up on the wall, you can see the texture. If it's done on watercolor paper, you can see the texture of the watercolor paper. You can see the little dribble of paint, or if it's done in acrylic, you can see the brush strokes and the paint. So it looks like a real painted mural on the wall. But because it's done at volume, so we've scanned it in and we sell it on wallpaper, you're not paying for the hours and hours of work from a local artist. So something that would cost thousands for an artist to hand paint on your wall is going to cost a couple $100s, few $100s. And that's Canadian. I know you've got a huge, your community, a lot of you are down in the States. There might be some Canadians. So hello, hi.
Absolutely, they certainly are.
Yeah, yeah, but we're Canadian based, so it's Canadian dollars. So your American community can take advantage of the exchange rate, which at this now it's about 30%. So it's pretty huge. And then for our Canadians, you're paying in Canadian dollars, not US, because it ends up costing us 30% more. So that is a huge benefit. But really, in terms of the wallpaper murals, they're quick to go up. You can have them in a couple of hours. They're up on the wall, and just the cost savings, but it looks like a real painting. So those are really the two biggest benefits.
And can we install those ourselves, or do you recommend hiring a professional?
Absolutely. So it depends on your budget. We have a YouTube channel where we share, I create how-to DIY videos. I've got a ton of them up there, and actually I've created a whole playlist just for indoor playgrounds. So it's got close-up of murals, because I know it's hard to shop for wallpaper online sometimes. So whenever I'm installing, or one of our installers is out installing, we take some footage so that you can see the mural up close and see all of the different characters and things going on in the mural. So we have those types of videos, but we have DIY videos. And so you can do it yourself if you don't have a huge budget. And many of our indoor playground owners do it themselves. Some of them work with, their contractors who are building their space. Some of the contractors feel really comfortable using our YouTube videos and hanging it. So there is still a fee. It's included in the price of the renovation of the space. But generally, I think it's a little less if your contractor does that. Or you can hire a wallpaper installer who will probably charge a little bit more, but they're well versed in wallpaper. And some people just, even if it's in their budget, they don't want to touch it. Like wallpaper, for whatever reason, I think it's like the easiest thing in the world, but people get really scared of it. So if that's you, you can hire a wallpaper installer. In Canada, so we're based in Ontario, around Toronto. We're based out of Hamilton. So we offer installation services in our local area, but there's also an association called the Wall Covering Installers Association, and they have a list of installers all throughout America, Canada, and throughout the world as well. If there's anybody watching this from other places, so you can find an installer there.
I'm glad that you brought that up. I am sitting in front of a wallpaper wall, and I am one of those people who absolutely needs to hire an expert. I did this myself, and I have to have like a bookshelf in front of it, and I have large paintings in front of it because there are so many imperfections. And I actually can't wait to redo it because I thought I was, well versed. I watch YouTube videos, but I definitely wish I would have splurged a little bit and hired a professional because, like I said, now I have to completely redo it. But anyways, I personally think it's worth the money, especially when it's for your business, because something that I found is that, it's not easily fixed if you do make a major mistake. So just my personal opinion, is I wish I would have splurged a little bit for a professional. To me, it would have been worth it. But one thing that I wanted to ask, a lot of us have these larger businesses with very large walls. Can you talk a little bit about the different size options that you offer?
So yeah, so the in-stock murals that we sell, sorry, I should back up a little bit. A wallpaper mural is slightly different than wallpaper like on your wall. You have a repeating pattern. So generally that type of wallpaper you buy by the roll. So you'd measure your wall, figure out how many rolls you need, and you just install it and you keep cutting it off the roll and put it on the wall. A wallpaper mural is different because it's a painting or it's a photograph, and we're basically taking that and we're blowing it up to fit a wall. So when you order a wallpaper mural, you're ordering it in a predetermined size. So it might be 12 feet wide by 8 feet high, something like that. So every in the ratio of the painting, every wallpaper mural might come in a different size. So one might come in a 10 and a half wide by 8 foot high. Another one might come in a 12 by 9. And some of them, we can do it in many different sizes. So for the in-stock wallpaper murals, there's a drop-down menu. You'll see the sizes that are available. You're going to order the one that most closely matches your wall. You might have to center it in the wall and have a little gap on the outside, or you can hang the whole mural and trim the excess off the sides. That being said, those are the in-stock murals and they're a few $100s. Honestly, going to get the biggest bang for your buck in terms of design, and like it just makes such a difference in your space. Like it adds color and texture, and it just adds that little bit extra for such a small amount of money. But if you have a huge wall and you want something very large, we can either print our wallpaper murals that we have in stock in a custom size, or you can come to the table with your own design, whether you go and use a stock image website like iStock, or you're working with a graphic designer and they put this together, and we can print out till kingdom come, like as large as you need it to be, or small. If you only have like a teeny tiny little, like a 2.5 foot wall, and you want to put, like we've done, the angel wing murals that were super popular before. We've
I'm
done
a big
them for
Taylor
like,
Swift fan, so I've been to
yeah.
yours in Nashville.
Yeah. So, but we've done them in miniature size for playgrounds where they're like for the little kids. And then, the hashtag for the indoor playground is above, and parents are taking these photos and so it goes viral. Like it's really such a great idea for indoor playgrounds for social media, getting your name out there. So even something very small like that, and you do it low to the ground, but we can do any size basically that you need. And they come on either 18-inch wide panels or 36-inch wide panels. And so we just keep printing them, and you put them up on the wall. Super easy. They're really easy to manage. And as large as you need, we'll print them out.
I love that. And I love the ability to do custom projects. I know you mentioned the angel wings. Did you have any other projects that you did for indoor playgrounds? I know I'm definitely going to link your YouTube channel, but do you have any other examples that you really like to showcase?
Yeah, I actually just wrote a blog post. That's how we connected.
Yes.
I wrote a blog post of 36 indoor playground wallpaper murals to inspire. So basically, just a ton of ideas, design ideas, because I get that a lot from these indoor playground owners where they're stay-at-home parents or they're ex-teachers or daycare providers, and they're opening up these indoor playgrounds as a business so that they can be there with their kids, and they love working with kids, and that's their forte. Is they know how to keep the kids occupied, they know how to educate them, all that kind of stuff. But then they call me and they say, I'm clueless with the design, like I have no idea, I don't know about themes, I don't know about colors, is this idea good, is that idea good? So we come together and offer these free consultations, and help indoor playground owners out. But I wrote a blog post showing all of these types of examples. So your viewers can use it as a resource just to even get inspired and start their journey and, trying to solidify these design ideas. And the blog post has a ton of marketing ideas as well, because obviously with my advertising background, brain, it just goes there. So, they can get some marketing ideas as well. But from there, if they want, we offer free consultation calls. We can do it by Zoom or just telephone call. And we can go through design ideas for people, because I know that's a challenge. People love the idea of, the imaginative play and all the activities that they want to do around it. But design is just, it's not in their wheelhouse. And that's where we come into play.
And that's funny because design was not in my wheelhouse and neither was childcare. I actually came from a business and marketing background. So I was really good with the numbers, needed a lot of help with the design, and needed a lot of help with the curriculums and the activities and classes and things like that. So that's a really good point. It's so important to recognize our strengths and our weaknesses and outsource what we need to so that we can really bring, our business vision to life. So one thing I wanted to ask about, because this is something that I encountered, I didn't know any better. And after we spent so much money on our hand painted mural, I didn't have any budget left over for like our bathrooms and some of our other areas. So I purchased some stick-ons from like Amazon. They were very inexpensive. Something that I love about your business is that we can support a small business. We can support local artists. I wish I had known about it way back in 2015. But something that was a big issue was durability, especially in those higher traffic areas. So can you talk a little bit about the durability of your products? I know you mentioned commercial grade.
Yes. So it's a little known fact that there are different categories of wallpaper when it comes to washability and scrubbability. I swear it's a thing. Like, it's crazy to me. It blows my mind. I'm like, really? Like, washability and scrubbability is a thing, but our wallpaper is category 5, level 2. So it's one of the highest grade. So it basically means it's scuff proof. So, if you I've done some of those indoor playgrounds, they have the race tracks with the little like peddler cars. So they go by and it's scuff proof. So you're not going to have that. It's washable. So with water and a damp cloth. So if you get like cakey fingerprints or coffee splatters, if you have a play cafe, you can just wipe it down. But also it's grade A fire rated. So if people are opening up a new facility, local bylaw or fire marshals might come in and request the paperwork showing what the fire rating is. It basically, ours is grade A. So that means that it's slower to burn. So if you have a fire in your facility, it's slower to burn. So it allows your staff, parents, and all the kids to vacate. It gives them more time basically to vacate. So a lot of local bylaw and fire marshals require that. It has to be a grade A fire rated wallpaper. And you probably are not going to find that on Amazon, to be honest. Most of that is going to be residential. Also, and I know you mentioned the wall stickers, and I don't know about the wallpaper that's behind you, but there's peel and stick, and I know it is the most popular wallpaper out there. But I hate it. I
I
actually
hate it too.
sold, yeah, that's how I started, is with peel and stick, because it's the most popular, and people have this idea in their head that it's easy. I'm just going to peel it off and stick it on. But there's 2 reasons why I hate it. First of all, if you can imagine putting up a panel of peel and stick wallpaper and then getting the next panel perfectly aligned so that the design matches, and if you mess it up, if it goes on a little bit crooked, the next one, you can't move it. You got to peel it back off, reposition it until you get it perfect. And it's impossible. Like, I install wallpaper, I work with installers all the time. Even I can't match it. Like, it's impossible to work with. So I prefer what we sell is pre-pasted, meaning that the glue is already on the back of the paper. And when you get that up on the wall, it moves around. So you can slide it around on the wall until the pattern matches perfectly. So it's way easier to install. But the other thing with this commercial and the specs, and the spec list is on our blog as well. If people need access to that paperwork, they can find it in the blog. But all of our wallpaper is non-toxic. So a lot of the peel and stick is made out of vinyl, and it off gases toxic chemicals into the air, formaldehyde, phthalates, just a ton of like really gross stuff that you as the owner working there are breathing it in every day, your staff, and most importantly, the kids, they're in there playing in there and breathing these fumes in, and it's really, really terrible. So all of ours is eco-friendly, non-toxic. There's no off-gassing, and the paperwork to show that as well. And from a marketing perspective, like you don't want to be breathing that in as an employee in your business, but also from a marketing perspective, parents appreciate that. They want to know that the facilities that their kids are going into, it's not going to affect their breathing, their health, and their behavior, because a lot of these toxic fumes, affect kids' behaviors. So it's really important to keep all of that in mind. So yes, all of our wallpaper is it's commercial grade. We've put it into huge like Sephora. You guys have Sephora, right? Down in the States.
Yes.
We've done Sephora. We have it's called the LCBO here. It's like the liquor store. We're not allowed to sell liquor in like corner stores here. It's a government regulated. So it goes, our wallpaper, we've done it with huge commercial contracts up here. But it's also eco-friendly and safe to use around kids and in kids' bedrooms and nurseries and whatnot, daycares as well.
And
So
that's,
yeah.
I think, when you spoke about the marketing perspective, it's absolutely accurate for indoor playgrounds. But what about those facilities, which especially there are many post-pandemic, the facilities that double as daycares or preschools? That's probably something they have to think about even more.
Absolutely, yeah. If it doubles as a preschool, museum, educational facility, and that paperwork I keep talking about, there's all of the certifications for breathability and clean air accessibility, and it meet criteria for LEED certification, which is the world's leading green guard seal of approval, but also for healthcare settings in schools, there's other like green seals of approval, and we meet all of them. So it can go in anything like that, or daycares, sports complexes, anything like that.
Thank you. That's a huge point, especially because play cafes are very on trend right now. A lot of people are opening indoor playgrounds. It seems like there's a lot more competition, especially in the last couple years. So any way that we can differentiate ourselves and sell ourselves to customers, I think is a huge positive. So I'm really glad that you shared that. So you mentioned some numbers earlier, you threw some numbers out there, but can you talk a little bit about the budgeting process as well as how long the lead time is, especially if we're looking for something custom? So if somebody's listening to this and thinking, they absolutely want to hire you, when should we start planning that? How does the consultation process work? Can you share a little bit more about the actual logistics of hiring your business?
Sure. So I don't know. There might be indoor playground owners out there who know what they want, and they can just go on our website and order whatever murals they want that we have in stock. For the people who need a little bit more help, we offer free consultations, as I mentioned earlier. And so we'll just connect, and you can fill me in on the concept that you have in mind, if you've got colors, themes, anything like that. And then we'll come up with, and budget if you care to share that as well. So from there, we can come up with a bunch of ideas. If it's in stock murals, that's the most cost effective. They're going to, range anywhere between $200-300 Canadian, sometimes a little bit more depending on if you get a larger size. And actually, I should mention as well, if our wallpaper murals are not on sale, because those are the sale prices, but if they're not on sale, I put together a coupon code just for your community. And so if they are shopping for the wallpaper murals that are not on sale, anything in stock or samples, like you want to see the colors, you want to feel the paper, anything like that, we have a coupon code to save 40% off plus free shipping. And the coupon code is Play Cafe Academy. So it's just for your viewers. And that's for anything in stock. So they can have a look at that. We'll walk through the budget and design and everything like that and help you. And if it's just in stock, it would be in their hands in like 3 to 5 business days, generally. Sometimes a shorter lead time, it could be 1 to 2. So within a week, let's say, they'll have these wallpaper murals in hand. If you're going custom, the shipping time is still, but we're going to need a couple extra days probably to find the artwork. So we work mostly with a stock website called istock.com. In the YouTube playlist that I mentioned earlier, within that playlist, there is a video teaching how to create a custom wallpaper. So you can watch that and watch how iStock works, but you go on there, there's millions and millions of different images. So we'll help you choose a high resolution image that is appropriate to print out for your walls. From there, we need, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 days to lay it out for your wall size. We send through a digital proof for everybody, so that and if you're working with a designer or architect, everybody can see it. And once you give approval, then it's just a 3 to 5 business days. So it's quite quick. The custom wallpaper obviously is a little bit more expensive because we're making just one of it just for you. And there's a little bit more time in helping you choose the artwork and also laying it out and sending over digital proof. So obviously it costs a little bit more, but it's still really reasonable, especially when you think about, the cost of a hand painted mural, which I paint murals still. So I'm all about like supporting local artists. And if that's in your budget and you really, you want that unique look, then definitely go with the, a hand painted. But even the custom wallpaper is going to be more cost effective than a hand painted, like way more cost effective. So yeah, that's the budget for that. The only other costs that go along with the custom wallpaper is purchasing the rights to use the image from iStock, which is, $20 or $30 usually. And also, if you're working with a graphic designer, obviously paying that graphic designer. So we can take your logo and put it on any custom wallpaper that you want. So if your graphic designer is creating a logo, you have to pay the graphic designer for that artwork. But other than that, like it's fairly reasonably priced. And yeah, time wise, within a week, 2 weeks for custom, I'd say about 2 weeks, and you'll have it in your hands.
That's amazing. I was absolutely thinking that you were going to say, 6 to 8 weeks. So that's
Yeah.
really incredible.
Yeah.
I know you work with a lot of indoor playground owners, and I am going to share a link to that blog article that you mentioned because, as you said, that's actually how I found you. And I was blown away by all of the amazing designs. You absolutely have to check them out if you're listening or if you're watching. But have you noticed any trends or anything that people are kind of gravitating to in the indoor playground industry specifically lately? I'm always just so curious.
It really depends on what type of indoor playground you're talking about. So here locally, for whatever reason, the imaginative playgrounds are huge. I don't know if it's the same
Yes.
where you are. So those facilities, they're looking for like grocery store murals, veterinary clinics, construction zones, fire stations, that kind of thing. Anything that gets the kids feeling like they're actually, working in a grocery store or are a construction worker, things like that. So we sell all of those in stock. But then there's also like the play cafes. Those are huge right now as well. So we've got some coffee designs, some really cute like coffee cups or coffee beans, bakeries, that kind of stuff. And then there's the sports complexes, and they've got party rooms in them. So you might have for the sports complexes, soccer balls or athletes or a stadium, that kind of thing. Party rooms, still like, and I'm talking, this is like years and years in the making, but like the under the sea, Little Mermaid type thing and princess parties. I think because there's so many local entertainers who come in and they'll sing and do those birthday party type deals. But over the years, we've done farms, we've done dinosaur theme party rooms. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Just really pretty floral ones are popular right now. I think floral in general in residential homes as well are huge. And then I've noticed the last few indoor playgrounds that we've worked with, they're going for more of a mature look. So instead of having the mural being like, we've got like one where a farmer is selling vegetables and fruits, and that one's really popular for the grocery stores. But I had one indoor playground order. We have a really high resolution barn board wallpaper, so it looks like wooden slats on the wall. And so it's more of a mature, sort of like that organic feeling market, local market downtown sort of deal. So like some of them more mature, I'm seeing that a little bit more, like a more of a mature design. So that's an option as well. But the sky's the limit. And that's the beautiful thing with wallpaper murals, is that you can pick and choose whatever you want. And ours is removable and reusable. So if you put one in and then you decide 3 years later, you start with the barn board and then you realize, my local market here, my local population of children, they don't like this for whatever reason, maybe in a different city, or the parents in a different city love the barn board idea. They keep coming back because they love the design, but in a different geographical market, it might not fly. So you can peel it off. It's removable. It won't damage your walls. It comes off in minutes, and start fresh with a different design. So that's one of the newer innovations in wallpaper. I know, like when I tell people I'm in wallpaper, I get this cringy look from them, like, oh my God, I remember these, this old, wallpaper my parents had, and I was in there helping them remove it for days. It took forever, it ruined the walls. Like, I get these stories all the time. But technology and wallpaper has changed so much. And ours is completely removable, even though it's not peel and stick. It's still like a higher quality pre-pasted wallpaper, but you peel it right off. And if you do it carefully enough, you can actually reuse it. So you can take it and put it in your home, put it in your kid's bedroom, and peel it off, and just add a bit of paste and hang it up. So yeah, so those are some of the trends that I've noticed. But I think it's such a personal feeling, these designs. I don't necessarily know if there's one trend that all of the indoor playgrounds are going for, because you want to sort of differentiate yourself from each other. You want a different feeling. So I don't see like crazy trends in terms of this has to be the design for your facility. Like, the sky is the limit, and it's whatever helps keep you apart from the competition. Like, you want to stand out and have your own look. So it's pretty important to put some time and thought into the design.
Absolutely. That's such a great point. And I'm so glad that you brought up the removability of your wallpaper, because I have the peel and stick and it sure said that it was removable and it wouldn't damage the walls. However, because it's not a great quality product, we weren't able to remove it. It's definitely going to destroy the wall. We're going to have a lot of work to do when I remove it. So that's just another reason to invest in something that's a little more high quality for your business, especially because it is so important for your customers. And, I don't really care if my office wall is damaged for a little bit, but it certainly is going to impact the aesthetic of your business much more than it would in your home. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, because this is something that we really struggled with, especially with our hand painted mural, is we really struggled with maintaining it, because shortly after we had it hand painted, the artist actually moved away. And so, we weren't able to contact her and get similar paint and ask for help. And we didn't even have the option to pay her to touch it up. So can you give us some tips if we are going to invest in either a custom mural or in something that is in stock? Can you give us some tips on how we can maintain it and just some things that we need to know, especially because many of us are hoping to use them for many years to come?
Definitely. I will actually, I'll start with the hand painted in case there are people out there who have the hand painted murals, or would like that look, because that is where I started. With the hand painted, I generally use interior latex paint because it is durable. So you want to be able to wash it. Some of the, when I started, to be honest, I didn't know what paint to use. This is always a big question with muralists when they're starting, like, what kind of paint do we use? So to keep prices down, I went to our local dollar store, and they sell the little tubes of acrylic paint. And I started with that, but I didn't realize until I started getting calls back from clients that like it scuffs, it chips, it fades, like it's not a really good quality paint. So now all I use is interior latex paint. It is more costly, of course, but it's durable. And if you work with a good quality paint, like I generally use Benjamin Moore, they're also VOC free and low odor. So same thing, you can also still market yourself as being eco-conscious, non-toxic, that kind of thing. Definitely, if you're working with a muralist, ask them if they can leave the paint at the facility when they're done. That way you have access to it. And if they move away, you can hopefully just touch up the little, if some kid colors on it or something like that, you can touch it up. So that's the hand painted. The wallpaper, there's not much you need to do to maintain it. We print it with UV gel inks. So if it's in an area where there's a window and a lot of sun comes in, it shouldn't fade. Like it might a little bit if it's like really, really direct sunlight, but just sort of diffuse sunlight, it's not going to fade. And because they're washable, if you get, food splatters or drink splatters, you just wipe it down. So there's not much really you can do to maintain them. Like they are there, they're there, and
That's
that's
perfect. And
it.
that was kind of a trick question because that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear that they
Okay.
were more low maintenance. Because again, we cheaped out with our stick-ons for our bathrooms, for example, and they were such a nightmare to maintain because they were lower quality. We were constantly having to, peel them back on, and they definitely faded very quickly, even though they weren't in direct sunlight. So I'm just really relieved to hear that there isn't much maintenance. And like you said, they are washable and wipeable because that is something that is so important, especially for, us being in very high traffic businesses. So to kind of wrap this up, where can we, I know I'm going to link your YouTube channel and that blog post that you mentioned, but if we're ready to look at your in-stock designs and maybe use that promo code that you had mentioned, where can we learn more about your products? And then where can we just follow along with you and see some of your work?
Yeah, so you can visit our website, AboutMurals.ca. Again, we offer free shipping to Americans and Canadians alike. So you can visit our website there, our shop. I do suggest reading the reviews that are on our website if you're looking for ideas, because customers always give the best insight in terms of design. You can find us on Pinterest, YouTube, and Facebook. Our handle is @AboutMurals. Unfortunately, Instagram, somebody stole my handle before I got it. So on Instagram, we're @about_murals. That's another marketing tip for everybody. If you're starting a new facility, even if you don't think you're going to be on the TikTok or the Twitter or whatever, go and reserve those handles now before somebody else snatches it, because it's such a pain. I set up my Instagram much later than all of my other social, and now I'm just out of luck. So yeah, that's how you can find us.
I appreciate that tip. It was a great note to end on. So thank you so much for joining us. This was such a great conversation, especially because, we're in the new year and we're all probably looking to refresh our spaces or launch a new business. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and expertise.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
All right, that wraps up my conversation with Adrienne. I hope it was as helpful for you as it was for me. I didn't even know that there was that much to learn about wallpapers or murals, but here we are. I feel like I just took a masterclass on murals. I can't wait to purchase one for my own home. I'm very excited. And again, this was just such an eye-opening conversation, and I really hope you enjoyed it. So if you want to purchase a mural from Adrienne, or if you just want to learn more about her business or follow along with her, I linked all of her information in the video description. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to drop them in the comments. And as always, if you have a video suggestion, you can put it in the comments as well. All right, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.